Well, it happened. The Dallas Cowboys have their next head coach. It is indeed Brian Schottenheimer, the former offensive coordinator, getting promoted into the full-time role as the head man. I am Tom Downey, producer Chris Daughtry. Behind the scenes, we will stay live for as long as everyone wants us to, as this will just be an event session, I think, for all of us. And for my new co-host, my good friend, The Toaster, is back with us for today's show. He might get a lot of work tonight. We'll find out there. Toaster alongside us tonight. Give me your one-word reaction. This should be good. VOD cut or the on-demand cut is already out. Got live as soon as possible. I'm sure we'll have some good one-word reactions tonight. It is also 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, so I reserve the right to cuss. I am going to put that out there now. Nobody said I couldn't. I did not specifically ask for it, so it's fine. Give me your one-word reaction, then we'll get to all the super chats that are coming here. Boycott, frustrating, why? Great from Rashard Lee. Boring, turd. Playoffs? That's a funny one. Visor, done, boom, waste, uninspired, mediocre, so. WTF, horrendous, sucks, abysmal, happy, screwed, uninspiring, done, boo, lazy, really cheap, shit. Boo, arky, boring, disappointed, lazy, pathetic, Garrett, boo, garbage, rebuild, sad, og. Cheapskate, screws, insanity, more. Give me your one-word reaction. I will make notes that the Cowboys are also hiring Matt Eberflus because this stupid fucking team couldn't even let me do defensive coordinator candidate video. They're just going to hire immediately, which, by the way, I think they're going to try to really skirt the Rooney Rule on this one because you have to interview one outside minority candidate. I think they're going to try to claim Leslie Frazier and Robert Saleh were both interviews for that. I don't know if they actually will. They might get in trouble for this. I don't know. We'll break that down as soon as the graphics are available there. Get to some super chats here as well. The one-word reaction to Brian Schottenheimer getting hired. William Cook, I could live with Schottenheimer, barely, if they actually improve the team in free agency. I get it. I don't think they're going to. I would love if they spent money on that. I have severe doubts that I don't like Schottenheimer as a play caller. I didn't like him in with the Jets, with the Rams, despite what popular opinion might tell you. The Seahawks moved on from him because they wanted to run the ball less. Like, statistically, they ran it in, like, neutral run fits or run situations. They ran it, like, bottom 10 with Schotty and top 10 without him since 2016. So, that's that. JetWolf90, I swear someone needs to, that one, yeah. Someone needs to move this over a little bit to block the questions. There we go. Swear, you can pull off the Tom L thread. It doesn't need to be up there, by the way. Someone needs to change a dictionary term for insanity to a picture of the Jones boys. This cycle was straight up giving me an aneurysm. They did not do a real coaching search. Like, they clearly didn't. They interviewed 4 candidates, 2 of which were they were just Rooney Rule candidates / outside interviews. And I am gonna go through that. Kellen Moore actually told them no, and they went, "Oh no, we got to go with someone that we know," and they picked Schottenheimer because there was nobody else. CJ says, I'm done. Yeah, I get it. Ecuador Man says, F me. Yeah, I get it. Even if you like the hire, you can certainly super chat it and be confident on that. Chris B, they announced it at 10 p.m. Eastern. I wonder why. Because they're yellow-bellied cowards who let it be buried on a Friday night news dump because they know we're all going to be pissed at it. That's why. Because they cowered out of it instead of maximizing it. Like, just stupid. JT, per Ed Werder, Eberflus is the DC now too. Nick Harris also reporting that. Which, again, we'll talk about Eberflus here in a minute. I'm very annoyed that we're doing head coach DC same time because at least I get the damn views to feed my family, guys. Eberflus, I actually have 0 complaints about hiring Matt Eberflus as the defensive coordinator. Like, when he's been the DC, it's been pretty good. You know, the Bears had issues with the team. The defense, before he completely lost the entire organization, was actually doing a very good job. That 2023 when he went on was awesome. Saved his job, and the defense was the number one reason for that. So this is why I was like not ever really freaking out about like figuring out who the DC was going to be. You were going to be able to get somebody good. So I actually don't have any issues with Eberflus as the DC. I am fine with that one. That one doesn't bother me as well. Now, they clearly again weren't serious with their coaching search because they interviewed Frazier and Saleh, and they're just gonna claim that as the Rooney Rule interview. It's like it's not the point of it, which is not fun. Trent, I'm gonna KMS. You know how many tubs? You know how many bad boys these can fit in a tub? A lot of them. Chris B, God, I hope they get in trouble. Screw them. I don't want to lose draft picks either. Which is why the precarious nature that we are currently at. But yeah, I get it. All right, we'll come back with, again, for those of you just now tuning in, news on Brian Schottenheimer, news on Matt Eberflus as well. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the place for last-minute tickets to your next big event. Not a Cowboys game. But they have a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your next event even easier. Filters out all the fluff, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of different tickets to find the best value. Download the Game Time app today over at GameTime.co. Create your account and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create your account. Redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase, which is also made possible today by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to get last-minute tickets to your next big event. Prize Picks is... I read the wrong script there. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 10 players to 1,000 times your cash. Win your game all season long on Prize Picks. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. Unitive, how long is the contract, Tom? Think he was updated. Reports I've seen are 4 years on the deal for Brian Schottenheimer. What I am much more intrigued by is what is the actual per year money on said deal, and then what is guaranteed? Because most coaching contracts are fully guaranteed. I wonder if this one isn't. So I would not. I want to keep an eye on that one. And maybe we'll eventually get that information out there. Doesn't always get reported because it's not like a thing they have to disclose. You just got to get good reporters to find a way to do it. T. Thompson, I would have loved Kellen. I bet Kellen said no. Thoughts? I think you can make a real argument. And on the VOD, we kind of did. I think you can make a real argument that as like the walk-around guy, like the CEO, the leadership type, I think that you can make an argument that Schottenheimer is probably better in that. You know, leading a team, standing up there. Like, I think there are valid concerns about Kellen Moore. Calling the plays, which Schottenheimer allegedly wants to do, and I suspect is going to do. I think Kellen's proven himself plenty of times there. I do think, though, that Kellen said no. I do think that's what happened there. From Jotman. So a few questions. First, is it Captain Toaster or Commander Toaster? It's Mr. Toaster. It's Mr. Toaster. What's the catchphrase? I'll toast you. It's getting toasty in here, or it's toasting time. I think it's just like drop me in the tub. Like I don't know what it is. How toast is this team? Look, I think it's I think you can win 9 games again. Like, I think that's very possible. Like, I think hiring Schottenheimer keeps, and this is the thing because the Cowboys did it, I think it does keep your floor out of like a 5-win team. I think that's what it does. But it also keeps your ceiling, as I drop my pen again, it keeps your ceiling like not a real contender. So what's the damn point when that's going on? That's my issue. Like that is what I don't care for, by the way. I do want to do Eberflus tonight though. I don't want to wait for that one. So sweet. It's just I am unhappy tonight. I am unhappy. Brian Schottenheimer, the new offensive coordinator, former offensive coordinator, the Cowboys head coach. I'd say you talking with him behind the scenes. It's like he should be updating you on what's going on there. It's been 10 minutes. Sweet. Grade the Brian Schottenheimer higher. A, B, C, D, or F. A/B, 6%. C, 13%. D, 15%. F, 66%. Cheers. I'm in a hoodie and sweatpants. I'm going to drink on air. I think what else we can do, and we used to do $50 super chats for the beer bong to get on the Wheel of Honor. $50 and we'll put your name on the toaster too. We'll do that and either give it away or drop it in the tub. We'll figure it out there. So just like the wheel, so instead of the beer bong of honor, it's the toaster of honor is what we have there. So this will be the co-host for tonight, and then we'll see what fresh hell awaits me tomorrow of that point. So it does sound again like Matt Eberflus is going to be your defensive coordinator. There are very real questions about fulfilling the Rooney Rule and everything like that. Like Ed Warner has now changed his report and said he has emerged as a candidate, but they'll conduct interviews. Okay, let's just do DC candidates. Let's just do that, and we'll just put Eberflus at number one. Like maybe start with Eberflus stuff at the very top instead. I'll kind of let you, Chris, kind of instruct us on how to manage that one. Or let's actually ignore that all. Eberflus cut, and we'll just throw on the other candidates at the back end. Is what we'll do. Still build it, yeah. Like all I need is just that like player L3, the listicle of Eberflus, some weigh-ins, and that should be all we need there. So you should be pretty close to it by now. Grade the higher. A, B, C, D, or F. You have to do a procedure on the Eberflus stuff, guys. You're supposed to actually interview candidates for the Rooney Rule. Kind of, honestly, there's a non-zero chance the Cowboys forgot about that. That they forgot they're supposed to interview a minority candidate for that job. Because Ed Warner, 10 minutes later is corrected. Just the listicle of the candidates. Yeah, just the 8, not the support graphics. You're supposed to do an actual search to find your new coordinator. I think they're going to hire Matt Eberflus very clearly. They will hire Matt Eberflus, but you're supposed to do the Rooney Rule. And I don't think the Cowboys are going to, I don't think the NFL is going to allow the Cowboys to say, oh, well, we interviewed Leslie Frazier and Robert Saleh for the DC Rule. I don't think that's actually going to fly. Grade that higher, A, B, C, D, or F. We can go through some of the other graphics we got here for Schottenheimer. Again, does sound like Matt Eberflus will be their Cowboys DC because, I don't get to do DC candidates at all. So let me try to be positive here on Brian Schottenheimer. Some things that I think are true, that I think are positive things. I've heard good things about his leadership. Sounds like he can be a good leader. He's a good people person. He can get up there and kind of like, lead a group. And I think the players had supported him and vice versa. I think that Schottenheimer was heavily involved in that when they had that come to Mike meeting of like, Mike, we don't like this of what we're doing on offense. Can you change things? Like, can you figure stuff out? Like, that's kind of where we're at this point. I think that is a big factor. He has had a few good offenses. Those couple years in Seattle, statistically, the offenses were very good. And the players do like him. All of those things are true. The last time, though, that he called plays was all the way back in 2020. He has spent 12 years in total calling plays. The number of times he has had a top 10 offense, a top 10 scoring offense, once. 4 times in points. In yards, just the one time. That good run in Seattle, which I don't think was which he eventually got forced out of. I think that they wanted to air out the ball more in Seattle, and I think Schottenheimer was the one that was hesitant to that. Because pre-Schottenheimer, 2016, 2017, they ran the ball at about a top 10 rate, or passed it in neutral down situations at a top 10 rate. With Schottenheimer, it was a bottom 10 passing offense in terms of like when they ran it. A couple years before Pete Carroll left, they were back to being top 10. So I do think that despite what the national narrative always was, I think Pete Carroll was always more of a pass-first team, and Schottenheimer was more of a Marty Ball type of option there. The downsides for Schottenheimer, and again, I'll play it both ways here, I suppose. He's never been a head coach, and there's not a lot of great examples of the guy that gets to be a great head coach when you've been coaching for nearly 30 years, and then you get your break, and it works wonderfully. Normally, especially as offensive mind in this era of the NFL, you kind of get your shot a little bit earlier. That didn't happen. This hire absolutely does scream, this is a cheap Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones puppet. That is absolutely what this hire screams. Like, I don't think it's going to be expensive. I think this is somebody that is just going to be hired to be cheap. That you had your owner out there publicly talking about, I don't want to go down this path. I mean, incentive-based contracts, whatever. I don't. That doesn't build confidence. We go back to that list. By the way, I didn't get to go through the rest of them. So that does not. And I don't remember what the hell was on them. So this does not build confidence in me, frankly. The 6. He's never been the head coach and the play caller at the same time. And by the way, I do think if Brian Schottenheimer didn't get hired, he was going to go be a position coach somewhere. No one else has wanted him as a head coach or offense coordinator in a long time. His last head coaching interview, the most recent Marvel movie that came out, was the original Avengers. Obviously, corrections need that on that one. Like, we got 1 and 2, and we don't have the full positions on there, too. No one else, it was that long ago. I do think that he was a big factor, and I hope I'm wrong on this. I don't know this for certain. I think that I think the run game scheme, I didn't like all that tight zone stuff. That's what Seattle ran with him and with the same offensive line coach, Mike Solari. So I am very worried that Solari's going to stick around here. I hope they promote Lundo Wells to be the O-line coach. I think he's better, but I am worried that Solari is going to still be here in some capacity. And by the way, Marty Ball was never a good thing. That was always a pejorative term. I am old enough to remember that. It was not a good thing when you hired people who damn Marty Ball, that didn't win you playoff games. That was always, it's Marty Ball again. Not going to beat good teams doing that, which has always been our issue here, right? Super chat time from Michael. Prediction for OC. Hope, not prediction. Concern is that they just promote Mike Solari into the role. I think Anthony Lynn could actually be halfway decent for you, given his ties to the organization. I think that could benefit you a little bit as well. So I think that's a fact. I think Anthony Lynn stands out to me, and then it might just be Schottenheimer calling the plays. So that's how this is. CJ DeYoung III, I'm becoming a Jets fan. The Jets, which is certainly interesting. Empire, we are. NFC East head coach and GMs are shitting themselves with fear. Yeah, they are. And if by fear you mean laughing about it, that would be pretty entertaining. EGN Buck, Dak will need to become Superman this season. It's not going to work in Dallas. I have no faith it's going to work in Dallas. And in season, we will go back to blaming various players and not the ownership group that set this all in motion. That's what I'm sure will end up happening. Chris P, we're going to be third, fourth in the division for a while. I mean, Eagles, Commanders playing in the NFC Championship game. Go asteroid. Maybe an asteroid helps us out and works out positively that way. Tristan Brown, Tom, this wasn't your career. Would you be a fan anymore? I am Stockholm Syndrome, so probably yes, but I would continue to not be very happy. I am not a happy person at this moment. I don't think many of you in the comments section are a happy person at this time. So, Barrett B49, hey Tom, been watching since 6th grade. Now I'm about to graduate high school. Thanks for the good shows. And the Cowboys suck. Tank for Manning. Is that which troll headgear am I wearing on that one? Is that one of the wigs on that one? Can't tell what his profile picture is. Again, you're not going to be bad enough to tank for Manning. This is how you get to being decidedly and actually mediocre, where you're right back to those, we won 7 games, 8 games, 6 games, 9 games years. That's what this could potentially lead you to, and that's the worst spot to be. Cowboys fan, this really hurts. Jerry owed it to us, pick a good head coach. I've been defending this team for 20-plus years. I don't think I can be a fan anymore. This sucks. I get it, guys. I understand the pain, the frustration, all of it. I get all the different frustrations, and this is a safe space to vent about it. And if you want to change your mind later, you want to get on board with it again later, that is perfectly reasonable. But my biggest issue here is this organization did not attempt a real search. You could have sold me an argument of, hey, we interviewed 10 plus candidates. This guy blew us away with his interviews. But they didn't. They ran another sham search. They didn't try to make a real hire. Should do the second Ed tweet, and time needs to be changed too, by the way. Like this is not a search that has been done properly. This is a half-assed search that did the bare minimum. I do think got told no by Kellen, who they thought they'd be able to get. There's a chance that, funnily enough, Big Mike ends up without a job right now. This is not how it is. This is not how any of the other 31 organizations do their work. Not a single other organization operates this way. And it is profoundly frustrating for me that this is how things go. That is not something that I'm a fan of. And if you want to get fully on board, that's fine. Go for it. More power to you. But if you're pissed right now, so am I. Because this search sucks. It sucked all the way through, and you might get lucky, but it's not because of the way you went about doing it. Matthew Embry, I just want to know how they sell this. Do they know the OCs will call plays? Maybe at least a run game theme could change. Trying to be hopeful. Again, I am concerned that your run game changed to that inside tight zone stuff. When Schottenheimer got to be the OC, he brought over Mike Solari as well to help out, and both those guys ran that inside tight zone run scheme. Like that is what worries me here. There had been reports that Schottenheimer wanted to call plays. So until we see something else, I will operate under the assumption that it's going to be Schottenheimer calling D plays. And that's not fun for me necessarily. I have concerns about going down that path. I do. I think a lot of us do as well. And that's kind of the unfortunate reality of where we at. So. All right, Paul. Tom, only one way out. The toaster. So the team needs to be sold. Sorry, something different on that one, Paul. They're never going to. They never will. Ethan the Boss for life. What a shit show. I will say shit because it's also 11 o'clock at night, so it's fine. All right, Mario. Tom, there has to be a way fans can revolt. This is getting out of hand. Can I say January 6th, the star? Am I allowed to say that? I had a lot of things that were on my list of like just over-the-top reaction memes that I'm like, this is too far. That was one of them. I can't do another year of complacency. It is complacency, isn't it? It is indeed just like, we're going to go about things the way we like to. We want to be comfortable. We want to sit and relax and not have to deal with things and just, well, we know this guy. We think we can be a playoff contender. So this is enough for us. It is the comfort and the complacency that drive me insane. Of more of the same, but also like consistently getting a little bit worse versions of the same. You know, the fan for me too. But by the way, appreciate that. It's just not. It's not fun for me. Like I get the. I think all the blame, and to be clear on this, goes at the front office. This goes at the Jones boys. Like that's who to blame here. It's not shoddy. It's not the players. I think it's telling you've lost several coaches, by the way. F the Jones boys for me in the comment section of today's show. FJB. Because I do think they at least get word back of what the fans are saying. I think they got someone to troll the internets for them. That is why they dropped this at 10 p.m. Eastern on a Friday night. Because they know it's not going to be a positive reaction. Because it shouldn't be a positive reaction. Like that should be a huge factor in it. So I am frustrated by the whole damn thing. So FJB in the comment section of today's show to F the Jones boys. I'll give some shout outs here as well. Matthew, Logan, TG, Anthony, Turd, Scott, the Rice Man, Blood, Senior Cowboy, Cowboy Rob, Depressed Cowboys Fan, RT88, Aaron, Dwayne, Asante, Cool Connor, Josh Brown, and it was so many it crashed my laptop there. So if you want to just have like some semblance of a script for me. Oh, I see what you got going on there. That's perfect. Keep doing what you're doing there, Stone. FJBs from Jason, Brian, RT88, Noah, Echeverria. I think that's how it's pronounced. Al, Arnaby, Rick, Marvin, iPod, Let's Go, K Weaver, and many more in there in the comments section of today's show. The live edition of the Cowboys Report, by the way, as we sit here. Oh, we've been live for about a half hour, breaking down all the kids. Anything possible will fit on that line, by the way? So, Joshua, Fernie, Pills B1, Cowboys fan, Joshua, a lot of F the Jones boys in the comment section. And I don't blame you guys. Because this is a hire of Brian Schottenheimer that's based on you can trust us, trust that we know what we're doing, when we have given you no reason to trust us, and also we didn't do a real search. So, but just trust us that we know more than everybody else in the NFL. Just trust us that that's the case. I don't trust them to do that. So we'll get to some more Super Chats. FJB in the comment section of today's show, as we will discuss what exactly is going on with the Matt Eberflus stuff here later on in a little bit. JT, I'm just going to live with it because I'm still a Cowboys fan. Got to hit free agency right for once. Basing all this off Chris Carson being good under him. We're probably screwed, though. Time will tell. Appreciate that. How about that for a reference? Chris Carson, fortunate neck injury, kind of ended that career earlier. I am just concerned. This is definitely an exhaustive search that definitely didn't make the ownership seem like a first time doing it. Remember, exhaustive search. They got more names than they've done. Yeah, bullshit. They interviewed 4 people. I'm convinced that the conversation between Pete Carroll was vetting Brian Schottenheimer. Convinced that's all it was. KEU and driving professor nickname as DC. Matt Eber, impossible to hold a locker room. Also going to get through because they skipped the Rooney rule. Yeah, by the way, good luck getting someone to come interview for that role now. Good luck. Good luck doing that. Like, we'll break this down, but it had been reported by several that the Dallas Cowboys were going to hire Matt Eberflus as their defense coordinator. That was getting done. That was in the process of already happening. And then, like 20 minutes later, it was, oh, it's not done. He is the top candidate, but there are rules. You have to interview 2 external candidates for that. I don't know if you can count Robert Saleh and Leslie Frazier as that. I don't think you can. So again, this team just I actually have very little issues with hiring Matt Eberflus in and of itself. I'm actually fine with that. That's not a bad thing necessarily. But the process is just dog water. It's just dog water. Travis says, sell the Cowboys to the Dodgers owners. I don't know who owns the Dodgers, and that's why it works. Because you shouldn't know the owner. Unless you're an actual fan of the team, you shouldn't know the owner's name. Cowboys, everyone knows Jerry Jones. Household name. Because the brand matters more than football. And that really pisses me off. Dylan, why are they dysfunctional at every level? Because they have a geriatric alcoholic owner, and his son is even worse. Now, I can accuse someone of being an alcoholic because I'm drinking right now, so that makes it fine. He is geriatric, though. That is a fact. Austin, Jerry needs his hands back on the wheel. F. Catboy, last year and this are all Steven. Jerry's not a genius, but this is not this bad. They have, in the end, it is still Jerry's fault, too, though. Because Jerry's still on board with, this is fine. I approve it in the end. I have not vetoed it. I have allowed this to continue to happen. So, at some point, yes, this does also go on the shoulders of Jerry Jones, by the way. I also don't know if William Cook's super chat came through because it's not popping up on the left side for me. But it is popping up on the $50 super chat. So I think there's actually something messed up with the YouTube side. But William Cook, I do see your $50 super chat. I don't know if it actually pulled through because it's not showing up on the dashboard side, but it is on the YouTube side. So William, we'll put your name on here. Put William. There we go. Toast you, William. Everyone can see my crappy handwriting. It also does not really visible there. $50, and we'll put you on our new co-host here at the Cowboys Report, Mr. Toaster. All right, the Great Duke Bothers are in the film. We lost to Arizona in 2023, or the Saints this year, or Denver that one year. Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of that. A lot of that. It's not something I'm looking forward to. There's no confidence and there's no hope around this team. And that's a really shitty feeling to have. Roman Wolf Gaming, I bet everyone said no, and he said yes. Okay. We shall see. I kind of think that's what happened. I think that I don't think Kellen wanted this job. I think he passed on it. And that's super frustrating for me. Prize Picks will be the sponsor, by the way. The next one, I should say. I think Kellen said no. And I think that everyone else wasn't a real consideration. This team didn't interview Todd Monken. They didn't interview Aaron Glenn. They didn't interview Ben Johnson. They didn't try to interview Joe Brady. They didn't try to interview anybody. They did the bare minimum coaching search. They interviewed. I specifically asked this team, don't just interview 4 or 5 coaches. And that is exactly what they did. And that really frustrates me. Because why? You clearly need new blood. You need some semblance of change. This is not change. You promote the guy when the other guy retires because things were so good. Not because you're ready to give the next in line guy. You can't find this with reason and logic. It's not there. It's so damn frustrating by the whole freaking thing. If you have not already, hit that sub button. We will still be here with Cowboys coverage. I have already cleared this with the powers that be. You don't have to watch Cowboys games this year. But if you still want to know what's going on and you don't want the money to go to the Jones boys, it can come here instead. And I can feed my family and pay my power bill for when I drop this bad boy in the tub. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/CowboysTV. Now, right off that, what's your confidence level right now in the Dallas Cowboys? 0 to 10 are your options here. I would anticipate this being very, very low answers because this is not a hire that should build confidence. It's just not one that should be a positive thing. Like how can it be? How can it be one that you think ends up working well? Like it again. This is a trust-based hire that, hey, we think this is going to be the right option for the Dallas Cowboys. We trust us that we know what we're doing. Nobody else wanted him, but we know what we're doing here. Trust us. But also, we didn't do a real coaching search, and we're giving him a shorter than normal deal. It's 4 years, not 5. I would love to see the actual contract details on that. Just trust us that we know what we're doing. But I'm all out of trust. I just like, this annoys me. That this is how things are being operated by this organization. It's just a stupid process. That's all it is. It's a very dumb process. And that leads to bad results more often than not. And that is a very frustrating element of everything going on for me. None of it I like. So, cheers to you guys. $50 will put your name on the toaster, by the way, instead of the beer bongs. Okay, so like 5 super chats, and then we'll do the Eberflus stuff / defensive coordinator candidates, which is where we're at. All right, Roman Wolf Gaming. I mentioned this one. I do think everyone said no. At least Kellen said no. Michael, this is a Jerry Jones here, whole Madi move. He runs the team, doesn't give a damn what people think. And Steven, too. Again, there had been a lot of reports that this was more of a Steven Jones-led push than it was a Jerry Jones-led push. Brian really couldn't re-sign McCarthy, then promoted his worst OC. What a time to be alive. My bathtub is filling now. What if we all went to the Star and pulled our own Jonestown? How would that work? This video might get demonetized. I don't know. But am I wrong? Byron Joe David, you ready for the newly dubbed 12-gauge shotty? Only shotty I want is one to the face. Broken collar, Cowboys are toast. Again, I got a lot of these. They gave me too much time to think of all of these things. Cowboys are toast. Mr. Toaster, right here. KEU, first 30 seconds of the stream should have been just Mr. Toaster. Yeah, I actually think it probably should have been. But that would have... He's my new co-host, though. He's my new co-host. Matthew Embry. He's going to stay at the office. I don't think the wife likes me having him around the house. Low expectations will make it possible. 10-7 with maybe 1-win playoff max. Look impressive. You can't make this up. I'm just shocked. I think that is the ceiling. They've kind of set themselves up for. That's the ceiling. Or like the players go superhuman and they overcome ownership and the lack of roster adjustments. Like we very clearly saw, okay, the roster was kind of maxed out with as far as I think they could have gone under McCarthy. So to not go any further, I just have a really confusing time of figuring out what the heck they're doing. 2 things. Tell Stone there is a spot for the copy further down that he should be using. Sam Brown. Smart move by Jerry. Got people talking about America's team the day after conference championship games. First off, Sam, keep it up. You're not going to come to the combine, okay? Keep it up. I have no control over that. Look, they did time this up so they can do the press conference on Monday. So this leads the shows on Sunday, and they still buried it on a Friday night like absolute cowards because they knew this was going to be viewed as a negative. They absolutely knew this was going to be how things go. JetWolf90. Do you think Brian Schottenheimer will call plays or hire a real offensive coordinator? The reports had been that they wanted Schottenheimer specifically wanted to call the plays. So I would assume he got what he wished, that he's going to call the plays in Dallas. Now, maybe that changes. They do still have a leverage tool that they can utilize here. They can get blocked by other coaches. Like, other teams can block them to hire a run game coordinator, to hire a quarterback's coach. Because I don't think Scott Tolzien's going to stick around because that's a McCarthy guy. But they have a tool of the offensive coordinator, extra space there, even non-play calling, even the non-play calling coordinator cannot be blocked. Like, that's how it goes. So you can go steal like an Anthony Lynn or something, and maybe you can help your ground game. That would not surprise me. My concern is that they are going to just let Shotty call the plays and make like Mike Solari the OC, which is like the worst thing possible as far as I'm concerned. It's not really where I want to be. So that's my concern. You all set for Eberflus stuff? Sweet. In a minute we will break down the hired but not officially hired weird stuff going on around Matt Eberflus in just a second. And then we'll come back with more Schottenheimer news. We'll do a mailbag too. This is going to be a vent session, which I think I got a nice fun headline cooked up for that one. I think I'm going to have some fun with that. We'll see. So let's talk Eberflus here on the show. We're talking defensive coordinator candidates. Well, yes, plural candidates, even though it doesn't really seem like it is going to be a real search. The Cowboys are going to hire, reportedly have hired, set to hire, zeroing in, pick your terminology on Matt Eberflus. It seems like he is going to be the guy for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'll explain what the heck's going on here. We will have more updates for you on the Cowboys coaching search. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button. YouTube.com/Cowboys TV. Don't give your money to the Jones boys. Give it to me and my family and Mr. Toaster so I can feed my family. Let's go to the first Ed Warner tweet here on Matt Eberflus. He reported at 9:24 or 10:24, whatever it was, p.m. Eastern Time. The Cowboys have hired Matt Eberflus as their defensive coordinator on Brian Schottenheimer's staff. He was a defensive assistant under Rod Marinelli, blah, blah, blah. There's one big issue here with this. There's one large problem, and that is you can't do that yet. The Cowboys have to fulfill the Rooney Rule here. They have to interview 2 outside minority candidates. So Ed Warner, 20 minutes later, someone in the Cowboys office went, shit, we can't do that. No, don't do that. Said Eberflus has emerged as a candidate to be the next DC and discuss the position, but team will first conduct interviews as required by league rules before the final decision. So there has to technically be a coaching search, even though there's not really going to end up being a search because the whole thing's just funny and a mess, and it's all just stupid, and somehow the Cowboys can't even do the defensive coordinator hire properly. So knowing it's probably and is going to be Matt Eberflus, who do you want as the Cowboys defensive coordinator? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. It'll be the pinned comment, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. We will get to other names mentioned that I had listed as potential candidates. I'm very upset that the Cowboys organization did not give me a chance to do an actual DC candidate search because he was behind the list. This looks so smart. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. When Eberflus has been a defensive coordinator, it's normally gone pretty well, all things considering. Now, the Bears team stunk last year before he got fired midway through. Defensively, they still had done some good things. That defense kind of rallied from what was a bottom-of-the-barrel defense when Eberflus took over. Down the stretch of 2023, they performed as a top 5 unit, top 10 unit. They were actually very good. And until the disaster against the Commanders when it all fell apart, that defense was doing a good job. And in Indy, he had every year in Indy in his 3 years as defensive coordinator, they were at least average in yards, and they had 2 years in the top 10 in points allowed. He was a longtime Cowboys linebackers coach. This is someone the team knows. I actually, in all honesty, I don't have very many complaints about this likely this probably going to happen hire of Matt Eberflus as the Cowboys DC. I think you can find a good DC. This is a fine hire. I don't like the fact that, again, it's just going to the buddy system, going back that route and going, yeah, we got our friend back in here. The gang's all back together. I think there are real things you have to figure out. I think you have to make sure you got good defensive tackles. The Eberflus scheme, he does not blitz. He is a 4-down pass rush type of guy. That's why he needed Montez Sweat on that team. So I think you're going to have to get good front four. You need better defensive tackles. You need, better options at the cornerback spot, given the uncertainty around Trayvon Diggs. But in a bubble, I actually have no issues going with the Matt Eberflus hire as DC. That's not an issue for me at all. Other names we'll discuss here as well on today's show, but I have no issues with Matt Eberflus there. Now, Jane Slater reporting this. A source informed tells me, and even David Moore is now changing from hired to the favorite. Read between the lines, guys. Source informed tells me the Cowboys have not put the process of hiring Matt Eberflus. That's someone held in high regard, blah, blah, blah. Not part of their considerations is having Jason Witten on the staff, which is a direct contrast. I think there's a second tweet there too, Chris, to what had been reported previously. It says, while Jerry's been in a relationship with him and they've talked in months, it appears my sense of him being part of the plan or extension at this point haven't been discussed, in fact. Okay, we'll see. Press X to doubt in the comments section, because I kind of feel like it's still going to end up having Jason Witten on staff. That I would be actually kind of happily surprised, because the whole time it's felt like he was going to be forced on to the staff. So we'll see about Witten. We'll see on that front, but we'll keep it defensive focused beyond here. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It's available in over 30 states, including California, Texas, Georgia, and Florida. They invented the best place to get real money sports action. They also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks is not right. They're also giving you the free square, as painful as it is in NFC Championship week, to take Jaden Daniels' single passing yards. Take James Cook, McLaurin, Saquon, touchdown 2, more than, less than. Do the flex play. Good chance to come out on top. Download the Prize Picks app today over at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, the Bears defense kind of faded down the stretch this year. They were, I will say, the numbers were much better overall when they had Matt Eberflus in there. They got worse as soon as he left. Now, the whole team had kind of folded, so it was to be expected on that front. But I don't have any real issues with this likely hire of Matt Eberflus as the Cowboys defensive coordinator. Now, we will look at other names, other possible defensive coordinator candidates here in just a second. Before we get to that, I want you guys to grade the possible Matt Eberflus hiring. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Grade the possible Matt Eberflus hiring. A, B, C, D, or F. Again, they're seemingly zeroing in on Eberflus as their next DC. So we'll go 8-5 to start, and then we'll go 4-1 on some other names I have in mind here for the defensive coordinator search. Now, I had guys like Robert Saleh on here. I had Al Harris on here. Robert Saleh has now taken the job as the Niners DC. That happened a minute after the Cowboys made their hire, so that was done. And Al Harris is the new Bears DB's coach / passing game coordinator. Dennis Allen certainly seems like he's going to be the Bears DC, but they're going to do the real search and interview minority candidates and blah, blah, blah. Wink Martindale seemingly wants back in the NFL. It's fine. Gus Bradley actually never overlapped with Schottenheimer in Seattle or Jacksonville or LA. They were all at different times at that spot, but not together. His defenses also haven't been that good. I would not be surprised if a name like Ken Norton Jr. gets a call if the Commanders lose this weekend, by the way, to be the Cowboys' next defensive coordinator. Obvious ties to the organization, ties with Brian Schottenheimer. They coached together in Seattle. I've got my notes here on Ken Norton Jr. He never had a top 10 points per game defense in his years coordinating defenses, and he was never higher than 16th in yards per game. One time he was in the top 20. Not a good defensive coordinator. We'll keep an eye on Leslie Frazier as well. He is a current Seattle Seahawks assistant, the former Vikings head coach as well. Frazier interviewed for the Cowboys head coaching job. I think you have to do a separate interview for the DC, which is, again, an embarrassment that you're trying to count them both at once. So wouldn't be shocked if he's an obvious DC interview option there. You might even see a Chris Richard get called again because Richard's everyone's go-to to fulfill a rule that they don't actually want to hire. I will mention Rex Ryan here as well. Now, I think Rex was lying when he said the Cowboys couldn't get the money to work on the defensive coordinator side. They wanted Mike Zimmer. They interviewed Rex Ryan. I think he was in second place for that job, but he was the head coach when Brian Schottenheimer was the OC in New York, so obvious ties there. Mike Zimmer is not under contract. Now, I don't know if he wants to be a defensive coordinator. I don't know if he wants to take on that job anymore. He might want to go back to like the Cincinnati area and be a consultant and, marry his model fiance and just live life. Like, that's fine. And then, of course, Matt Eberflus is the obvious number one candidate here for the Dallas Cowboys as their next defense coordinator. This feels like when, not if. So maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, but the reporting being he's been hired to, we have to do a search. Yeah, I read between the lines. It seems like it's going to end up being Matt Eberflus as this team's next defensive coordinator. So do you want Eberflus or not? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. I'm going to do this headline real quick, and we'll give some shout-outs here as well. We are very much behind on the Super Chats. I think there's been a couple we have not gotten to. I know someone was very upset that we didn't get to it, but we will, I promise you. There's just a lot of them. We're also doing shows here, so we'll get to the Super Chats, I promise you. I think we're caught up on those. Let me do this headline real quick. Chris, why don't you put yourself on here and give some shout-outs, and, you can try to talk with Fledge. I know you don't want to because you've been trolling me mercilessly the past week and a half because I don't like this hire at all. But give me your thoughts here, bud. Bring Chris on here in just a second. Rex Ryan, Eberflus, doesn't matter. Again, you haven't hired Matt Eberflus yet. Not technically. Chris, what you got for me?
This hire for me, man, it just seems so like Jerry Jones do boy. Like he's just going to do whatever that Jerry Jones wants him to do. And he's not going to get in his way either. I feel like he's a guy that's not going to complain when Jerry doesn't give him what he needs. Like I think, this year, Mike McCarthy really, he needed more than what he had. And I'm willing to bet Mike McCarthy is a guy that would have been like, hey, Jerry, we need more. And I just can't see a guy like Schotty really standing up to Jerry like that and doing that.
He's going to be thankful he has the job.
Yeah.
He's going to be thankful for that. You want to grab that Pedialyte for me? This is drying out my mouth. So, all right, Roman Wolf Gaming, can we bring KC back to Dallas, please? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That would certainly be nice. They're not going to. It would be with the Hunt ownership, right? Right? Not the Jones ownership, because I think you could have the entire current Chiefs team top to bottom minus ownership, and I think they win maybe one with the Jones boys. I think they win maybe one. I think it's that messy overall. Thank you, Roman Wolf Gaming. A lot of supers are getting caught up on here, so stay tuned for that. Jimmy says now get Mike McCarthy. Hilarious. Bobby Slowick, Byron Leftwich, or Frank Reich as our OC. Yeah, they might not get any of them. Maybe they interviewed Leftwich and Pep Hamilton, since those guys were just sacrificial Rooney Rule lambs in New England for the head coaching job. Martin DeLoach. Promise you we get to your supers, but there's a lot going on. Playing on the name, it's going to be interesting. He's not his dad, and I think that Nepo baby arguments in 2025 don't, and I know that's not what you're really doing, but I don't care whose son you are. Someone's like, but he knows football. I don't care. That's the bare minimum. It's not a reason why you get someone hired. Blood. They don't want Dak to learn a new offense with the same playbook as last year. That is also what bothers me. Because this team, the ownership group is literally going to say, well, this is what's best for Dak, blah, blah, blah. You fought tooth and nail to pay him every time you had to pay him. And then head coach time, it goes, well, let's just blame it all on Dak still. Why? It is good for everybody involved if you go outside the organization and you challenge everybody involved. Because you get to be comfortable when you've won something. You ain't won shit. You don't get to be comfortable. Otherwise, it's just going to not lead to the results that we want. Chris B. Jane Slater said Witten is not part of the staff. I'll believe it when I see it. It would honestly be nice to see that. Because that means they're not forcing it on Schottenheimer. And maybe he fought back a little bit. But I have my doubts. James says, Tom, learn to code, bro. This Cowboys thing has played out. That's my boss. So that's how the vibes are. My own boss is threatening my job. Lone Wolf, so I'm going Texans or a Chargers fan. You can't be a Chargers fan because then you're just like that one guy who wrote a fucking letter and said goodbye to the fan base, which was embarrassing for him. Cheer who you want to cheer for. What are you cooking up over? Oh, you're taking out the hoodie? Okay, I was worried about James told you to do something. I was going to be very worried for a second there. Cheer who you want for. I will be here, and we can bitch and moan together and celebrate the wins when they happen. Matthew, why a Friday Night News dump if Jerry likes him? Because he does it, because he knows the reaction. You drop this shit at 10 p.m. because they're not going to like it.
I legitimately thought Jerry was going to let this go through the weekend, have the Shrine Bowl go on, the Dion buzz. I thought he was too. I was fully ready for that.
I figured tomorrow to make it the big story to lead all the shows going into Conference Championship Day, or they're going to drag it out to next week and get hey, Jerry's at the Shrine Bowl, sitting there talking to Deion Sanders. What does that mean? Interview, get yourself linked to Cliff Kingsbury, Anthony Lynn or something. That's what I thought they might do. Which is why this is bad, because we're talking about non-football reasons why they're going to drag it out. Not they're going to act up on people. No, they're just let's cook up excuses to get more media attention. So bad. Chris B, I have no expectations. Probably 7 to 9 wins a year. People keep saying you're stuck in purgatory. You're stuck being mediocre. You have not been mediocre. Not with a healthy Dak and Romo. You've been pretty good. This could be mediocre. Aaron, the other orgs were laughing at us after the Packers' wildcard loss. They are laughing even harder now. It might have reached the point where they feel bad for us, actually. Because everyone knows this is a weird hire. Why would they do this? It is. We are almost at the point where the low-hanging fruit doesn't taste good anymore. How about that for one? Jimmy, are we tanking for Arch Manning? I see us winning 3 or 5 games. I think you'll win at least 6 or 7. That's my other issue. I think this kind of raises your floor a little bit. If you hire Dion, there is a chance that goes tits up, and it's all bad, and it's a cluster, and there's all kinds of just discord, and it's a disaster, and it's a mess, and you do win 3 or 5 games. I think with Shotty, I think you're going to win at least 6 or 7. So you're not going to be in Arch Manning range. You're not going to be in real quarterback range. You're not going to be a real playoff team, or you're going to be like a playoff team, but not quite high enough. And that's going to be a real concern there. So that's what worries me a little bit. Let's get to Martin DeLoach, his most recent one. I know it reset on you with the super chats. We will have a mailbag tonight too, by the way, so stay tuned for that. That's a much older Martin one, or a much newer Martin one. 1054. I don't know if it shows you timestamps and whatnot. There are several I want to get to here. I'll just shout these out as Chris looked for me. It reset, so we lost some of them. Martin says, still saying playing on the name, not real experience. Going to be real interesting. So maybe he is saying they're just going on the name, which I agree with there. Jerry Getting says this guy is hammered dog shite, and he's a Commanders fan. Thanks for paying your rent there, buddy. You've got a playoff game, and you're out here talking about the Cowboys. Kind of embarrassing for you. There. I think that's it. Yeah, that one. That was the most recent one for Martin. And then next one should be Jerry below it. Got to that one. Bam Bam Cam is next up here. I do our Titans coverage. I am not a Titans fan, but I have enough time in my day to get other videos done. Ruthless Tactinex Gaming. I prefer the tactile neck. Not buying merch, watching games / hurt the bottom line. Don't watch the games. Do please watch our watch parties and live streams and our stuff so that I can feed my family, though. Thanks. Jorge Bautista. My Buckeyes have won 3 titles since the Cowboys have won 1. With the Cowboys, I think I'm going to stick to college football until Jerry dies. I get it. Here's the downside. Steven might be worse. And that is really, really concerning.
Steven could be one of the biggest factors in this hire.
I don't care what Jordan Schultz said. I'm convinced that is the case. Convinced. I know that the early reporting of this is going to be Schottenheimer had came from like the friends of Steven. So, George Johnson, was this Jerry or Steven that picked this guy? In the end, it is both of them. Jerry signed off on it. Jerry announced it. Jerry texted Adam Schefter to leak the news. Like, this is... He also went outside NFL Network, which is not how he normally does things, which I'm kind of intrigued by. This is... Jerry signed off on it. I do think Steven pushed pretty hard. But it's both of them. It's the Jones boys, FJB in the comments section. Tristan Brown, favorite Saudi billionaire for a hostile takeover. Do you have a favorite Saudi billionaire? That's also blood money. I don't think you're supposed to... I'll make this one overall. Somebody like, Elon, stop it. You don't want to know the name of the person buying your team. If you know the name of the person buying a team for any other reason than, hey, it's this other sports owner and they won a championship, that's bad. Because that just means it's ego. Because that's how billionaires get to be known. Because they spend their money and do things lavishly. I don't want to know my owner. Some people know who the Chiefs owner is. Some people know who that is. But like, how many of you guys know who the Eagles owner is? Probably not as many as should. Everyone knows the GM's name. I want to know my GM's name and not have it be the same name as the owner. From Max Finnegan. I don't think the Eagles and Commanders in the championship games really made the Jones boys care. No, they didn't. They didn't care. The Cowboys moved on / dumped Mike McCarthy, and it was the number one story during a fucking playoff game. They literally teased it at halftime of like, coming up, we'll talk about the Cowboys. Like, they don't care because people still talk about them. They are the ultimate all news is good news. That's all they care about. Matthew, on the bright side, no expectations for next season. Someone did, and I know you're kind of kidding, someone did tell me, I don't remember who it was. I'm also just outing random accounts on Twitter now that I'm picking fights with for no reason. This is good because now no one thinks that they'll be good. Like, that's not good. That's bad. They need to have no one believe in them. It's been 29 years. It's bad. McJowls versus Tank for Arch coming early. Again, you're not gonna be that bad. You still have talented players on your team. That's what's so annoying. Like, if you wanted to actually tank and blow it up, okay, sure, this can be your David Culley hire. But not just to like you just paid your quarterback, you just paid your receiver, and you know they're going to pay Micah Parsons in August. And they're going to pitch this as they're going to win. I guarantee Jerry's going to say he's all in again. I guarantee. Jotman. On the bright side, this guarantees the boys are targeting Genty in the first round. Maybe. I don't know if he's going to be there for you. I don't know if he's going to be there. That's what annoys me. Can you tell Stone to, just before he pushes it, like check the quality of it? And then I have the headline in. I'd say tell him to do the 2-bar. Like, top DC candidates. And, like, Eberflus hired already? Question mark? Something like that. Martin, again. But I got a Nord. Again, Martin. You can push this across from me, Chris, too. Sorry. I'm having you do multiple things. You didn't get a Nord. There were just like 50 Super Chats that we're getting caught up on. So, my apologies. They're just playing the name, not experience. It's going to be really interesting. We'll see. Brandon, Saints will whoop your asses next year. You guys also suck. So, like, okay. I don't know if the Cowboys going to play the Saints next year. I've not been into the schedule. Okay. You guys might take for Arch. Also, if Mike McCarthy's your head coach, yes, they will. That'll be the ultimate Mike revenge game. I'm hammering Saints money line. Jay Zachary Fitz. What record would Shotty need to go one and done? 4 wins? I don't know. Jerry's so damned patient, and he doesn't like to pay coaches to not work for him. So I want to see, what the cost is. Like, how much of his contract is guaranteed? Like, how much is guaranteed? What is he making per year? Because the minimum going rate is like $8 million, $5 million for a coach. Is he going to pay $15 million to have Schottenheimer not coach him next year? I have my doubts on that. I have my doubts. Chris B, it's time for them to change the name of the Dallas Clown Boys. There we go. All my props can exist forever. This also is a busted one. It's not going to fit on my nose and stay there very long. Clown Boys, indeed. It's Tom Clowney and Mr. Toaster here on the Cowboys Report. Damn it, that's how I should have led the fucking show with. That's a banger. Travis Hollingsworth Productions, 0-16. Here we go, baby. Let's go. Incompetence on top. I think you're going to be decidedly mediocre. I like Chris B's comment, Super Chat 2 here. Jerry statement he gave was such a joke. It's a terrible... Like, Jerry thought he cooked on that one. He's like, they know him as Brian, but he's not Brian anymore. He's a head coach. What? Jerry really thought he cooked on that one. And that's insane to me. Like, let me make sure I read the quote verbatim here. Let me make sure I read this quote right. Where is the damn thing? Brian Schottenheimer is known as a career assistant, Jones said. He ain't Brian no more. He is now known as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. What a fucking stupid-ass quote. You really thought you cooked on that one, huh, Jerry?
He ain't Brian no more as this year's all-in.
He ain't Brian no more.
We got to sell shirts that say he ain't Brian no more.
Stupid. Want to give me another beer, too? After you push Brandon across. I'm going to call him Dark Brandon because he's got the nighttime photo there. It says, hire Dennis Allen. Be nice. Ain't going to happen. AZ Tony Stark, just a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, AZ. And Kay Weaver. Are they going to retain McClay after the draft? I think he's going to leave this dysfunctional franchise behind. If I were Will, my kid's is out of school now, I might leave. He might leave. I will try to hunt him down. I will do my best to hunt him down at the combine and ask him if he's going to leave. So, cheers. I am just drinking for funsies now. Because I can. McJowser's a $50 super chat. We're putting your name on the toaster for a $50 super chat. Here's to a decade of mediocrity. Cheers, brother. I am worried you're going to be very, very mediocre. Let's get to Mick Jow. If you guys don't know, my handwriting is terrible. There we go. McJowser's on the toaster. Martin, again, there were a lot of supers, so we're getting caught up. Mark's full 20 just gets ignored, but play on the name, not experience. Valid. Brandon says, F the Cowgirls, who dat? Imagine paying money to say that. I would never be me. Bing is now, I think that they don't care. So why should we? Should I do the mailbag in the entire clown outfit? I think I should do it. Let's do it. Let's hit Samuel's super chat here. Recap the news, and then we'll do a mailbag cut. Let's do that. DC hire sounds like it'll be Matt Eberflus as this team's defensive coordinator. Now, that's not set in stone. There's a lot of other stuff. Part is there's green on this, and it doesn't it shows through because the green screen behind me, so it kind of makes a mess out of it. There we go. That's fine, I guess. Switch down. It's bigger than me. Samuel, I would assume Matt Eberflus would be my guess, because that's essentially reported already. If you're just now tuning in because the Cowboys hate us, they actually don't. They just don't care about us. They don't hate us. They just don't care. Brian Schottenheimer as this team's new head coach. They have simply promoted the previous coach the previous OC into what I assume is a play calling role as well. They are also seemingly set to hire Matt Eberflus as their next defensive coordinator. This one can't actually be done yet. They have to do the Rooney Rule, which there were reports of this deal is done, it's going to happen, and then they retracted those and went, oops, no, we can't do that. We're going to do a search and everything. So, good luck getting people to do a sham interview for you. Maybe Ken Norton Jr. will come on. Maybe you can find people that want you an interview for a lesser role. I don't know. They done messed that one up. So, Schottenheimer's the head coach. Sounds like Matt Eberflus will be the next DC as well. We will do a mailbag here coming up next. Now, there are a lot of super chats. I don't even know which one we left off on. Perfect. That's a good one to start off with. We'll hit that one on the show. There are a lot of super chats we have not gotten to. We will do a full mailbag. Game Time is the sponsor, by the way. Coming up live here on the Cowboys. I'll try to fluff the clown wig a little bit because it's got that blue is actually from the green screen. It's not supposed to. That's fine. It looks clownish, so that's how it goes. Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Clowney, and my co-host, Mr. Toaster, as we are live reacting to a generally widely regarded terrible hire by the Dallas Cowboys as Brian Schottenheimer is the new head coach. So it's fan meltdown time. Bing is now. I am far more concerned about the staff around him. Yeah. Look, that's all very valid. I think that there's a real chance he calls the plays, so he is a big part of the staff. The staff matters, and I'm sure there will be hires I feel good about, but starting off on the wrong foot. Ricardo Nunez, how do we as a collective find a way to give the Jones boys the middle finger? We have to revolt. Don't watch the Cowboys games. Instead, watch the Cowboys Report. Watch my stuff so I can feed my family and, not have to have no money, and it all goes to the Jones boys anyway. Crazy Saints. Also, I think we can still hit the Martin Super Chat. It's fine. Real fans, stop watching. Jesus, take geriatrics wheel already, please. Legal tells me I cannot advocate for death as I sit here with Mr. Toaster. Because that's my own, I guess. But here's my concern. Steve might be just as bad, if not worse. So, this is part of our live show. Martin was upset because he did not get to his super chat. There was a lot of them, so Martin, I apologize. But whether you super chat, super thanks, you send something in, we'll put you on the show. We'll give you the love because we appreciate your support very much, especially in these trying times. I'm going to bring in eggs and offer people eggs in these trying times next. Max Finnegan, Max Smash 73, a.k.a. McCarthy was already a yes man. Somehow they needed more of a yes man. If people were, no Kellen Moore, he's cheap and a Jerry Jones puppet, then what is Brian Schottenheimer? Feels like a worse version of that. Right? Abja Pawar, are they setting up Dak and CD for failure? I'm not even care about Dak and Lamb. They're setting up everybody for failure. This was not a real coaching search. This was a sham. This was not a real effort made to find the best head coach. Jerry Jones once said that he would write an obscene check, an embarrassing check, to win a Super Bowl. And that has never been true. Not in the last 20 plus years. They've never tried to spend the same way. They run this like a business and not a football team. And those are two different things. So what is your confidence level in the Cowboys right now? Be honest with me. It's a safe-spaced event. 0 to 10 is your scale. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. 0 to 10 at the pinned comments of today's video. Dennis, how are so disappointing? How does this even happen? I hope it proves me wrong, but how can they this is good hire? Seriously, I'm sick. I think that sums up a lot of people's thoughts here. This happens when you interview 4 people, and allegedly Kellen Moore told you no, and now you're stuck with none of the options you thought you were going to be able to get. And you refuse to do a real coaching search, and you just want somebody comfortable. That's how this happens. I think he could prove us wrong. I hope he proves us wrong. I do. And I know this all comes off as anti-Schottenheimer. That's how it's going to be. I care. This is anti-Joneses. That's what this is. Jesse Maldonado. % chance Jerry drops $1 billion in the script writers for an NFC Championship game appearance. It's funny. He ain't dropping that. He won't drop 15. He won't drop 7, 8, 9 to buy out his coaching staff last year. So much of this could have been avoided if they had simply made a decision last year. You could have kept Al Harris if you wanted to. You could have kept all these guys. You could have made and put yourself into better success for a coaching search this time last year. And you didn't do it. Day TV, is Matt Eberflus a good option as DC? I actually have no issues at all with Matt Eberflus. The head coaching stuff was a disaster. It didn't go very well. Some guys aren't meant to be the right head coach. Wade Phillips was not a great coach. A great DC. Dick LeBeau, if you want to wind back the clock there. I think Dennis Allen is a great DC, not a great head coach. I think Eberflus is a good DC. You got to get more talent in there, because if you don't have any interior guys, it's not going to work. You don't have the horses up front. But I think he is a good defensive coordinator. Foxtrot Gaming. Someone mentioned Vic Fangio. That's a good name too. Good DC, bad head coach. My expectations were low, but holy shit. I did tweet that one out too. Expectations were low, but holy shit. Can't wait for Steven to get the fudge away from this team. Completely disappointed. Go Broncos next season. You're not alone. The frustration is palpable and frankly justified, because this was a bad search, and it's tough to trust a hire that is purely based on you should trust us, we know what we're doing, when they've given us no reason to do that for how many years. Game Time's got a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats. So you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. It is curation to make it easier to find the best price on great seats. Toggle the all-in pricing feature to see your total cost up front with no surprise fees at checkout. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. It's probably not for a Cowboys game, but sports, other sports, Mavs, Stars, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Game Time has you covered. So go download the Game Time app today. Create your account. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. The Game Time guarantee is this. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download Game Time today for last-minute tickets. The lowest price, all guaranteed. Again, terms do apply, but it's promo code CHATSPORTS over at GameTime.co. Brennan, hands down, Cowboys equals Giants. Giants got to have a new search maybe next year, so we'll see. Tan Fam, this is Jerry's response to both division rivals playing the NFC Championship game. He doesn't care. That's the reality. He doesn't care. They don't care. They like being comfortable, and this is a comfortable hire. Baroon, a tank happens with how hard the schedule is next year, or if Dak gets hurt. I do agree on the Dak getting hurt part. The Cowboys start 2-9, Jerry have to fire and pay off the contract. If that happens, I hope you're right. I hope you are correct. I have my doubts, though. AJ Medell, there's no positives, just negatives. Let's go to the positives and negatives here, and then we can do the grade the hire too. Part of this. Look, I know I'm being very negative, and sorry, I don't know. It's how I feel. If you don't like it, I get it. Pros. I've heard good things about his leadership. I think he is a good people person. I think he can be a good leader. I think you can even argue he's probably better suited to be a head coach than an offensive coordinator. Doesn't mean he should be my head coach. He has had a lot of NFL coaching experience. He has had a few good offenses. I do believe the players like him. I do believe that Schottenheimer was one of the key cogs in that come to Mike meeting last year when they changed the offense. I think Schottenheimer was a big part of that. The cons. He's 51 years old. He's never been a head coach, and that combination is very rare and doesn't work very often. This hire absolutely screams it's a cheap Jones puppet hire. That's what this screams, right? No one, Brian Schottenheimer has not had a head coaching interview in over 10 years. It has been a decade. The most recent Avengers movie was 27 Marvel movies ago. It was the original Avengers. Was the last time he had a head coaching interview request. It has been a decade since he has been an actual head coach candidate. If he did not get the Cowboys head coach OC job, I don't know if he was going to get an OC interest anywhere else. I really don't. His offenses overall have been pretty mediocre. They have not been particularly great. Had some success in Seattle. They also were much more pass happy with him not involved in that offense. His run game in Seattle, again, I don't know how much of it was his because he kind of merged some stuff together there when he took over, has been tight inside zone. I am very worried Mike Solari stays on this coaching staff. I want Lunda Wells as my O-line coach, and maybe I feel better if like Anthony Lynn's your next guy. I don't know. At least he's got some Shanahan ties. And by the way, Marty Ball was never a good thing. I saw people arguing in favor of Marty Ball in 25, which is fucking wild to me, to be honest. Marty Ball is a pejorative term for, hey, the offenses, they win a bunch of regular season games, and they lose in the postseason. That's what Marty Ball was referred to. It was run, run, pass. How many times have I complained about run, run, pass over my time hosting this show? Constantly. I've complained about it. People are like, well, and the other one I saw from like Rapport was like, you know, or Joe Hood was on this very early, like, hey, you know, what's going to be that, like, they don't know what a scheme's going to be. So you're hiring to be your head coach and call the plays you don't know what it is? What? It could work. It could absolutely work. This thing could work out. It could be a positive. It could be a win. I pray that it is. Nothing would make me happier. I would love to be known as the guy that melted down with a fucking toaster over the hiring that got the Cowboys to a Super Bowl. I would love that. I would wear that as a badge of pride because my team won. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think you guys think that's going to happen either. So grade the Brian Schottenheimer hire. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Darno Grant, what happened to Saleh? The Niners were always going to get him. You know, there was that like 5 minutes of hope of like, ooh, maybe he'll be the DC. Never bought it. Before we had to scrap our DC candidates list, he was 10 of 10. He was going back to the Niners no matter what. They're gonna pay him more too. AJ Medell, there's nothing the fans can do to hurt Jerry. Nothing legal. Eli Aaron, this is the Stephen Jones mindset. We need 1990 Jerry Jones mindset. Yes. This is spot on. Steven didn't want to pay Deion Sanders. Steven didn't want Deion Sanders right now. Steven don't want to spend money. And I think Jerry doesn't want to be Al Davis 2.0. So he's letting Steven be whatever famous person's son ran their dad's company into the ground. And I'm sure there's a reference there, an analogy that works, but I'm not smart enough to know what it actually is. So we will have more Cowboys coverage for you. Vibes are bad, but we'll keep you updated on stuff. And none of the money goes to Jerry either. So hit that sub button, youtube.com/CowboysTV. Jesse Maldonado. That's got to be right. Maldonado. Who is Shadi Hadi's first draft pick? Let's see what free agency brings. Probably an offensive player. Probably a Genty or like a Burden or something. That'd be my guess. Why does Jeremy Chuggs' profile picture look like he is a junior in high school about to go to his first party? Why is that what's going on there? Got the phone in front of the face and the jersey on. My name is Tom Clowney. This is my host here on the Cowboys Report, Mr. Toaster. It's gonna be a fun prop to use in the future. That's what that's gonna be. Grade the shoddy higher, A, B, C, D, or F. So let me know in the comments. I will say, been live for an hour and a half. We will stay live as long as these super chats continue to come in. I'm going to check in on just Stone for me with how it's going. I don't know where he's at. If it's bad quality, you can just like run back to the other studio and cut it there or something, and you can upload it. Oh, it's out. We're good. Literally just went out. I might tweak that headline ever so slightly. Don't think there's going to be a push on that one, which doesn't really matter. So it's fine. Had to get something out. All right. Grade the higher. A, B, C, D, or F. I am very downy tonight. All the memes I posted on Twitter the past 24 hours past 72 hours didn't give it away. That's how it goes. Grade the higher. A, B, C, D, or F. We will stay live as long as the super chats continue to come in here on the Cowboys Report. Appreciate everyone who has already done anything so far. Again, the news of the night, which dropped this shit at 10 p.m., 9:30 p.m. on the... What are we doing out here? What are we doing? Brian Schottenheimer is the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. That has been announced. That has been confirmed. 4-year deal is all we know. I hope that someone like Todd Archer, Michael Gelkin comes out of the retirement to tell us what the actual money is on that deal. That'd be nice. Cowboys hiring Shotty as their next head coach. A super chat from Jesse Maldonado. When can we expect the Jason Witten hire? Jane says they're not going to put him on the staff. Which honestly just makes me question Wyatt Schottenheimer even more, frankly. / I kind of wonder if Shotty actually kind of pushed back and got his way. I don't think anyone wanted Witten on the staff. Like, just be there. Also, I could also see, like, they leak, Witten's not going to be on the staff, and then he is on the staff. Like, that wouldn't surprise me either. That would not surprise me. So, we'll see. Because, like, every single person reported, yeah, Witten's going to be on the staff. So, maybe they changed their minds. I like Witt a lot. I don't. For a guy who was, like, secrets in the dirt, whatever, I just want to give him a job. It's just, like, kind of what you're on the verge of doing there. Maybe he wants to finish out his kid's career in high school, too, by the way, which I actually would like, because he's done a good job down there. Both his kids are actually pretty darn good players. Cooper Witten just got offered by Texas Tech, last I saw. He's got other offers, too. Matthew Peterson, Taco Bell or Wendy's? I'll be hitting up neither tonight because the Taco Bell and Wendy's both just get hella backed up by me at night. I've learned my lessons there. But I prefer Taco Bell because it's better. All right, let's put 2 minutes on the clock here. If supers come in, we will stay live. Otherwise, I know it's midnight Easter time. So not everyone wants to be up late. And that's fine. Because, again, they couldn't even do the things that would be beneficial to me. You couldn't have done this like at 1 p.m. on a Sunday. When people care. People aren't going to bed. If I didn't have a live, if this wasn't my job, I would have seen the news and just said, well, that's it for me. I'm just going to go to bed for the night. That's what I would have done. I'm also an old man, so we do have to acknowledge that too. Cheers. Jesse, you're the man, Tom. Cheers. Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate it. 2 more minutes on the clock. As a reminder, this is the Toaster. This is Mr. Toaster. Wait, is that a brand? I feel like that's a brand. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not giving away free advertising dollars here.
Sounds like it could be like a kid's toaster. You know, the ones that you get for your kids. They have their own little kitchen.
I don't see a toaster. I did tweet out that we were watching the Brave Little toaster the other night. I've got more. Did I ever send you the ones that I said I was not going to do, or did I just send those to Marshall?
I don't think you sent them to me.
I've got some really fucked up ones that I'm not doing. That one's too far. Let me slug it to you right now, and you can keep yourself unmiked or mic'd up, and they can just hear the reaction to it. Let me find it here. Oh, I didn't post the other one I liked a lot. Shoot, let me send that to you. That's one of them.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah, no, you can't post that.
I can't post that one.
You can't post that.
I can't post. Let me put one more.
No way. Is that a real thing, or did you make that?
That's a real thing. I have another one that I texted only that I gotta send you. It's from a TV show. It's also really, really bad. But it's really funny. It's not great. All right, more supers have come in, so we'll reset the timer here. Who would you run as DC and OC? Good question. I am actually, as weird as this might be, I'm perfectly fine hiring Matt Eberflus as my defensive coordinator. I actually have no issues at all with that. The process is bad, again, because it's the Cowboys and all they do is make bad processes. But like he's a good defensive mind. So I actually don't have any problems with that one at all. OC, I think it's gonna be Schottenheimer. And at that point, like what's the benefit of this? Like doing both? I want to change, and I'm clearly not getting any change. Clearly I'm not. And that sucks. This might be too far. Justin says Jason Garrett for OC to complete the clown show. I did see someone pitch that. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Why? I could see someone like Anthony Lynn coming in and being the OC, which I wouldn't despise, actually. I think that could actually help a little bit. I also could see, like, they just promote Mike Solari. Because I want Solari gone, but I am worried he is just that would be really bad. Be really bad. DC Williams, we lose Dan, Mike, Al, Bones, Chan, Gailey 2.0. I thought 1-15 was low point. Last 20 years have been a joke. Quincy Carter, LMAO. It's not fun. It's not fun. Tonight sucks. There's no way around it. I've also been dreading this for like a week and a half, so like I'm not nearly as mad as I thought I was going to be, but I kind of already got through the acceptance stage. I will say I was the other night. It was not Friday night, or I think it was Wednesday night. It was Wednesday night. I was just not in a good mood at all, and my wife's like, "You're in a ranty mood tonight." And then I went down and did a video at that night. I did the video at home, and I came back up, and she's like, "You're in a better mood now after you ranted." I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah, they say don't let your fandom affect your mental health. It's directed at me. That's what that's about. I was in a bad mood Wednesday when I realized like this was gonna happen. This is what it's gonna be. I was not in a good mood. Jet Wolf, love to have Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame. Great player, really good player. I do worry about the hip, so got to vet the medical side because you already got one injured corner. You got to worry about there. But I don't hate that one either. It's not a bad idea. Cowboys fan. Would Jerry fire Schotty if we started 0-5? No. I'm not going to do that. We would all want him gone. But that would also admit that he was wrong, that he had doubts going into it. They won't do that. This team doesn't admit accountability. They'll blame everybody else. They will blame the other front office members. That they will blame the different coaching staff. They're going to start blaming the players. This will somehow all be Lamb's fault or Micah's fault on defense or Dak's fault or the left tackle's fault. It'll be anyone but them. Anyone but them. They never get up there and say, yeah, we messed up. They'll say stuff like, we got to earn the trust or whatever, but they don't actually say that they are the ones who messed up. They never do. Right, Toasty? Red Saint 234. If you can buy the Cowboys, what would be the one thing you would do to help change them to get back to Super Bowl and why? If I actually had the money to buy the Dallas Cowboys, as much as I joke that I would run the team, I would hire a real GM. I'd say, you go run the organization. You run this. I'll hire a real GM. I'll say, you pick your staff. You do what you need to do. I would not actually let myself run it, because then it's just my ego doing the exact same thing that Jerry's and Steven's egos have done. I would hire a real GM. You can argue it's Will McClay if you want. It's fine. But I'm not gonna Jerry and Steven know ball. They actually do a little bit. That is not the lone requirement for being in charge. Because if Jerry Jones was the GM, he would have been fired 4 or 5 times by now. You don't get to hire multiple coaches that fail. That's all he's done since Jimmy and kind of Barry. But Bill also, they would have fired him after Wade. Seth, trade to 19, get Burden. That's so Luther Burden, reserve receiver. Amarian Hampton at 44. TJ at 53. Is that TJ Sanders, the defensive tackle from South Carolina, or is there a different TJ you got in mind? And Xavier Watts at 73. TJ does not narrow it down. So the first name I thought of was TJ, but maybe there's somebody else in mind. If so, please clarify just as a regular comment, and I'll double check my names and make sure I don't think I'm missing anybody named TJ that's going to be in the 50s. Got to be TJ Sanders, right? Got to be. Let me think through this here. Or do you mean JT Tuimoloau? Sanders, okay, that's a South Carolina DT, so I was right. Good, we're on the same page there. And then Xavier Watson, named safety. I'm down. Yeah, I'm in there. I'm in. Pug Racer, I thought Kellen Moore was the floor. I tried to warn the no Kellen Moore crowd, but they still think that they were right. So, I'm not gonna. It's fine. I hope that they're right. Let's put it that way. I'm not gonna start fights. Jesse, besides Goat Downey, best Cowboys content creator. I think there's a lot of good ones actually. And I will leave names out, so I'm terribly sorry that I didn't mention everyone. I think Sky Steele is really fucking good. I love listening to him. Vach is awesome. I'm also very concerned because for the first time ever, Vach and I are on the same page on offensive linemen. Because normally he and I disagree a little bit. Because I like more athletic guys. He likes more power guys. But I was looking at his list because he posted it, and it's it's the same list we have. And Vach is normally more right than I am on offensive linemen. So I'm not going to actually feel good. I'm hey, we're on the same page. That means I'm right for once. So Vach is awesome. I forgot names here. Jeff Kavanaugh is really good too. There's others, of course. There's a ton of good ones out there, but those are the first 3 that I always think of. Sky's my favorite to listen to. I feel like I always learn something every time I listen to Sky. And then podcast-wise, because I don't listen to the radio. I forget who asked me. It was do you ever listen to the radio? I go, no, I don't. I have podcasts on. I listen to sports stuff. I like Love the Star with Broadus and Bobby. I think Bobby's out now. And then I didn't listen to the most recent one. And then I do like the Lockdown guys because Landon and I are chill. Hit that sub button if you haven't already done so. YouTube.com/CowboysTV. Let me get this pen that I dropped again. I am Tom Clowney. This is our co-host, Mr. Toaster. Cheers to you guys. 2 more minutes on the clock. Another super chat coming in. I will stay here, and I'll make Chris stay here too. I'll stay here till 5 a.m. if the super chats keep on coming in. I'll stay. I'll skip the zoo class with Olivia tomorrow if I need to. It's not a big deal. It's fine. I went to the one last time. Hit the sub button and get your super chats in here as well. SP Adventures seem to be requesting a trade by week 6. See, but the issue is Lamb and Dak like Shoddy, which isn't a bad thing, by the way. Most guys like their coaches. It's when they don't like their coaches that they get fired mid-season. I think they like Shoddy. They like Mike. They like Garrett. That's how it goes more often than not. But, you know, what are you going to do about it? They won't trade him. Jerry, I can't recall the last time someone asked to be traded by the Cowboys. Because I think Jerry would be like, F you, I'm not doing it. He's just petty enough. Pug Racer, let's put 2 minutes on the clock right now. Jerry wanted Dion, but didn't have Dion's money. I got to go back and find my tweet. Because I tweeted out immediately. I don't know if an interview happens. And one didn't happen. I don't know if that was ever all that real. That kind of felt like Jerry helping out Dion to get some additional leverage for the Colorado extension stuff that I think he'll probably sign in the not-too-distant future. Let's try to fix this stupid wig. I think that was Jerry getting the attention. That never felt real to me. As someone who didn't want Dion as the Cowboys head coach, because I think that just would have been a disaster circus. I think it just would have been messy and, attention for all the wrong reasons. I would have much preferred Dion to Schottenheimer. Because the ceiling's there. The floor's not there. But the ceiling is. Like, that could work. It could be a boat. This does not feel like a boat. And coaching hires are never a guarantee one way or the other. It's never a guarantee. The best hire, it doesn't always end up working. Oftentimes, it's the organization's fault, not even the head coach's fault. But you're hoping for a boat. And, Dion, could have been a boat. Could have been a boat with no motor. It could have been a disaster. But, Schottenheimer, it could be a boat. It doesn't look like a boat. It's not boat-shaped package. I shook it. It doesn't sound like boat keys are in there. I don't think it's a boat. Maybe it's the deed to a boat and you get lucky. But I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Some more super chats coming in here. Appreciate I think that's a new 207K, by the way. I think that's a new sub metric we hit. So thank you guys very much for that. Help me feed my family. Hit that sub button right now. That's going to be like the push I make for the next 5 months. Help me feed my family. Help me feed my family. All right, Justin. Jerry Jones blew all his money on strippers to afford a head coach. Look, you're Jerry Jones. Let's be honest. Let's be honest here. He's not paying for it. He's not paying for it. At least not directly. The fancy dinners alone with his illegitimate children. At least one that we know of. Legally, I'm allowed to say that now because it is public knowledge. I can now say that legally. Foxtrot Gaming. It's midnight, whatever. I can get away with saying outlandish shit. Sal was most qualified, but we know why Jared didn't take him. They say he didn't fit, but we know the real reason. Jerry and Steven want white dudes only. I actually don't know if that's the case. I think, let me put it this way. The Cowboys want someone they are comfortable with. They want someone that they know. They knew Joe Witt. They knew Al Harris. They kept those guys in key roles on the staff. They've had minority candidates for coordinators before. But a big part of why the Rooney Rule exists is because a lot of the coaching hires are click-based. It is about who you know, who you are comfortable with. That is why the Rooney Rule exists. To get other coaches who normally wouldn't get the same level of interest in front of owners and go, hey, this guy surprised me. I liked him. Let's see if he wants, maybe it's not this, maybe it's that. That is a big reason why it exists. And because it is a little bit weird that, the NFL is a retread league sometimes. But even when they interviewed, my issue is they haven't done a real coaching search since they hired Wade Phillips. That bothers me. I don't care. The process, regardless of the hires themselves, the processes have always sucked. They did a real search with Wade Phillips. Good job. They gave the job to Jason Garrett. They interviewed Todd Bowles. How about that one? They interviewed Todd Bowles and their wide receivers coach. I don't remember his name. Those are the two guys they interviewed. One was on staff. One was the guy they knew previously because Bowles was that, which tells you how long Bowles has been in the league. By the way, he was a Cowboys head coach interview a long time ago. They gave the job to Garrett. They interview Mike McCarthy and Marvin frickin' Lewis, who was buddies with Stephen Jones. You go this time through it. Hey, you interview Robert Saleh and you interview Leslie Frazier. That is all you do. Now, Robert Saleh, of course, was an available head coach. He is a promising defensive coordinator. But he wasn't ever a real candidate. Leslie Frazier was on the subcommittee of the competition committee when Stephen Jones has been on it. They interviewed Kellen Moore, who they know. Brian Schottenheimer, who they know. They interview all these different people. And the takeaway is that we're going to hire Brian Schottenheimer. That's what they're going to do. Okay? I doubt that. I have my doubts. I know that ESPN is currently reporting, Kellen wanted the job. Did he? Or did he tell him no? Because I don't know about that one. I have my doubts there. Feels like a Cowboys leak of, no, we did get our best guy. Because I don't trust them. Like, I think originally there was interest there, and then after the interview, suddenly Kellen's not a big candidate. Makes me suspicious. Or maybe they didn't like the interview. It's fine if they did. Interview more than 4 candidates. How about that? Crazy Saint, Tom, how do you mean a fan, honestly? I am Stockholm Syndrome. There's a lot of players I like. It's my team. I've got golden retriever energy. That's kind of all I got for you. That's my mindset. Like I'm not. I get if anyone out there wants to bail. I totally understand. But I will be here. It's bullshit that I don't remember any of the championships. Because they won the 92 Super Bowl. I was like 3 months old. That's BS. I don't get to remember any of that. But, maybe one day it'll get better. Chris B, been nothing positive since that Green Bay playoff game. Yeah. Sure feels like it. I mean, it's just, everything went wrong in that game. All 3 phases. Everything was terrible. It's just not good. And it sucks. It has been just all downhill since then. And this is not the type of hire that makes you feel like they're going to unfix things. So we'll put 2 minutes on the clock here. Any supers come in, we will stay live. If you haven't already checked out the on-demand video on the Brian Schottenheimer hire, we did go through pros and cons of the hire. I did mention some positives. I went out of my way to make sure that we did that. But I am mad at the Jones boys because that's who's to blame here. It's not the coaching staff. It's not the players. This is the Jones boys team. They did this. My ire is directed at them. If anything ever happens to the Star, I am the number 1 suspect. I know that to be a fact. If there's ever a fire at the Star, I'm getting a call. Hey, where were you? Okay, I was here. I have video evidence of me being on air at this time. It was not me. I'm in the clear. And that's fine. So FJB in the comments section of today's show. Let me know in the comments of today's video. FJB in the comments of today's video. See, Silver, the problem is Dak. No, it's honestly because it's not, though. He makes a lot of money, okay? You know what I'm doing? I am actually perfectly fine assigning the amount of blame to Dak Prescott that he makes as a percentage of the salary cap each year. I'm fine with that. That's like not even 20%. So you're falling for the Jones boys propaganda. It's never their fault. It's always it's the head coach's fault. It's the quarterback fault. And they do get blamed. I will get here and be pissy when Schottenheimer does something bad, or Dak throws a shitty pick, or Amani Oruwariye muffs the punt, and I'm in shambles. And I got to tweet out that one too. There's a long-standing group chat of me with some buddies, and whenever something bad happens, it's that photo of me just like down here in the corner going like this. That just gets used a lot. I will be mad when that stuff happens. I will. They get blamed too. But the big blame is the Jones boys, because it's their team. And they all would have been fired many times over, if that were the case. Dylan Harmon, a $2 super chat. Appreciate that, Dylan. So we will reset the clock here. Type in those FJBs. Coach, Joker guy, what model of toaster are we using? This is a cheap-ass Walmart toaster. Because why would I spend money on the thing that I care about most? Not. If the Jones boys won't. Like, that's how it goes. Got William Cook and McJowser's on there. $50 will put your name on the toaster. There's a lot of room on the toaster for names. This is, by the way, I will say also, I don't think I can ever plug this in, because I did throw this in the tub. This is the tub toaster from the Zeke shit, which I was right about, by the way. They called me a madman. They actually all agreed with me, except for like 20 people. This is the actual tub toaster, and I don't think I can ever plug it in, because I am actually very worried it will blow up. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I haven't decided yet. It doesn't matter. I'm not actually going to do it. Everyone knows. I am going to tweet out at some point. I think I will tweet out like a suicide helpline graphic of like, toaster jokes aside, if you do have mental health issues, please contact this. I do need to do it at some point. Like, to be fair, it is a fucked up thing to joke about. It is. Everyone knows I'm joking, but, All right, Dylan Harmon, let's reset the timer. Drink another beer. Storm the Star in Frisco, February 1st. Who's that? So this Mario said, that's Jan 6th, the Star. It's 12:24 Eastern on Saturday, a.m. Eastern. It's Cowboys Report After Dark. Just doing outlandish shit and making wildly inappropriate jokes. Let me find the other one I sent you here. Let me send the other one. So, Chris, unmute yourself here. There's another one. This is another fucked up one.
Somebody said, how much do I have to super chat to get you to plug that bad boy in?
I'm not plugging it in. I genuinely fear for my life. And also Chris Slap. I'm worried it's going to explode. I'm just going to zap the shit out of myself. All right, Chris is unmuted. This is the other one I was going to use.
Oh, my. Oh, no.
I have limits to the stuff that I will tweet. And I got some really fucked up things that I had in the bag.
The best ones just go in the group chat.
The best ones go to the people that I trust are not gonna leak it on me. And I get outed and canceled for wildly inappropriate things. Jan 6 is not the worst thing I thought of this week. All right, more super chats coming in here. Again, we'll stay live as long as they come in. Game Bomber T1 or Game Bomber 1 TV2. So that we lost Salah's decent enough hour, I want to cry. He was never yours. Let's put it that way. The only way you're going to get Salah was if you made him your head coach. He was always going to take more money on a more competent franchise in San Francisco. You didn't lose him in the 11th hour. He was never yours in the first place, frankly. So, the boss. Jerry made a deal, and we've been losing it in the script. This can't be our reality, but unfortunately it is. FJB, F the team. Guess I'll be a Texans fan. Hey, maybe you can get Bobby Sloak on the staff in some role. I don't actually know what that role is, but you can He probably goes to like Green Bay or something, would be my guess. Although I'm not surprised Slowick got fired either. That one kind of didn't surprise me at all. I kind of thought he was going to be on his way out. Yeah, it's not fun. Saleh was, I mean, there was a report like a week ago that Saleh was likely to go back to the Niners. They had already offered him the highest paid DC job if he didn't get head coaching. It's not an accident that move got announced within like 10 minutes of the Cowboys announcing Schottenheimer. And it's not an accident at all because they knew that's how it was going to be here. All right, more supers to get to. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Available in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and, of course, Texas. I always advise the flex play. It means you can get one wrong, still come out on top. Download the Prize Picks app over at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Links in the live chat and in the comment section of today's show. Again, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Get $50 instantly for your first $5 lineup. The free square this week, Jaden Daniels a half passing yard. That one's a no-brainer. prizepicks.com/CLNS. All right, what is your confidence level in the Cowboys? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. We'll put one more, 2 minutes here on the clock for Super Chats. I don't want to shout out Unitive. Would you add Chip Kelly on the staff? As my OC, yeah. I think Shotty wants to call the plays. There's no connection there. I feel like Chip Kelly is more going to end up like in Houston or something. That'd be my guess. That'd be my guess. It's not a bad idea, but confidence level in the Cowboys 0 to 10. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Zeros in there. -100, 5, 3, 4.5, negative infinity, -69, -0, 9, -0, -10, 4 to 5, 4.5 to 6, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, -0, -420, -69, 69. MG says make some toast. Hey, we'll put your name on the tub toaster. Maybe we'll give that away as a. I was like, should I give it away as a raffle item? I was talking with friends of my wife one night, and she's like, you can't do that, Tom. I think I can now. I think things are bad enough that I can actually do it. All right, 30 seconds left here on the timer. No more supers. We'll sign off, go home. It is 12:30 at night after all. Hit that sub button, hit the like button, hit the comment button as well. Appreciate everyone who tuned in for a Cowboys Report After Dark Meltdown special. I don't think I was as mad as I thought it was going to be. I'd have been a lot more mad if this blindsided me.
I feel like you've already gone through all the stages of grief at this point because you knew it was kind of coming.
I said I was a defeated man like a week ago, like 3 days ago. They beat me. I was defeated. I was like, give me Callan, give me Dion, I don't care, just don't give me Shoddy. But I knew it was going to happen. I was in the bargaining stage. Pete Carroll gave me a good half hour of hope, and then I went, wait a minute, what am I doing? Even go back and watch that video. Like midway through, I'm like, this just might be them doing something else. Like fraudulent search again comes through, which is just stupid. All right, we'll be here though. Good, bad, ugly. We'll have all the news, all the rumors, everything for you. We will have updates on this team's coaching staff. We shall see what the offensive side looks like. I am not as worried about the defensive side. I think you'll be okay there. I think Eberflus is fine hire. I'm more worried about the offensive side. I am slightly more worried about your defensive talent right now. So I think they'll be able to address offensive talent. I think they can all make us feel a lot better if they spend some freaking money, though, right? They add 5 Eric Kendricks players, level cost players. That is the best Cowboys free agency in years. That's how low the bar is. 1 minute on the clock. Al Walton, what draft grade did you give Shiloh Sanders? I start top down. I have not gotten to Shiloh yet. He'll probably be like a mid to late day 3 grade. Probably where he'll come in for me, which I think is about right. I'll be much higher on Shedeur. I'll probably have Shedeur as my number 1 QB, unless we get really negative reviews for some reason coming out of like the combine or something. Like I'm gonna have him as QB1, probably. Probably not a first round grade either though, which for Shedeur. Shiloh goes day 3, and I think he's probably a Cowboy, by the way. I'd bet good money on Shiloh ends up being drafted by Dallas. Also, by the way, in 4 years, we get to do the Deion stuff all over again, probably. If Schottenheimer doesn't work, at that point, Dak's contract is up. And in theory, Deion's still doing a good job at the college level, and Shedeur is about to be a free agent. And we get to do it all over again. How about that? Preston Jones, then had Gailey as OC and Campo as DC. And I will drop 1,000 toasters in my tub. That's what I do. I also like Lance Dunbar's burner. Better rapper, Cole Beasley or Boss Man Fat? Now, I'm not a rap aficionado. That is not my genre. Although I did greatly enjoy the Kendrick-Drake beef because Drake clearly got his ass kicked. And he's suing, which is an embarrassment. That's like crying to the teacher after you got into a fight. Like, you picked a fight on the playground on purpose, and you're crying to the teacher and tattling? Come on. L for Drake. Unquestionably, it is Cole Beasley. 80 Stings is actually a good song, which I might make you listen to that because I know you have not listened to it before, Chris. 80 Stings kind of slaps. All Boss Man's fat shit sucks. It's not good. He is not a good rapper. It's all that mumble rap crap that I don't care for. I sound like an old man. But you know I'm right, too. You know I'm right. 80 Stings is great. Not great. It is a good song. Dame is a better rapper than both. The bar is not very high. So, 30 more seconds here on the clock. We will stay alive as long as the super chats come in. Oh, we got 666 though watching. That's not good. That's concerning. That's concerning. Now, I'm not going to go so far as to say 80 Stings better than Not Like Us, because I actually really enjoyed They Not Like Us. That's a good song. I hope he plays at the Super Bowl. You know how awesome that would be? I'd argue it's the most American thing ever, because Drake's Canadian. That's what I'd argue. I think it'd be hilarious. I'm not trying to be like the Eagles. I feel like I missed something, so they're trying to be like the Eagles. No, they're not. Not at all. All right, we will sign off here. It is almost 1 a.m. Eastern time. Appreciate every single person who tuned in, vented with us. The Cowboys will have the Brian Schottenheimer press conference early Monday morning. I would almost guarantee the comments will be turned off on that show for them. So we will have it as well, and our comments will be turned on. And we can vent and moan as much as we need to. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/Cowboys TV. It is bedtime for a lot of you. Even on the West Coast, it's getting late. Hit that sub button. We'll have more videos tomorrow for you as well.